Ladies and gentlemen.
Hello again. Okay, so yes, I'm back with another story. I promise I won't take your time. I hope so. Okay, anyways, so I think a while back, I saw this question of I can't remember if it was trending online or I don't know, or maybe one of my research, I just saw it. So the question was that, oh, is it possible after you become born again and still be oppressed by the devil, or you still have demonic activities around you? It is possible. It is very, very possible. That's why, being born again, it's BEING. It's a journey. And when you come to give your life to Christ, it's your spirit that is being reborn. So you still have some residues in your flesh. You still have some fleshly activity happening. So that's why, as you go on that journey, you yield yourself to the Holy Spirit. You let the Holy Spirit be the Lord over your life, and in that process, you're being transformed from inside out. The more you yield to the Holy Spirit, the more you surrender your life to the Holy Spirit, your body, your soul, your mind, and everything has this edge around you that the devil don't have access to you anymore, because you now have a life totally surrendered to the Holy Spirit. So yes, it's possible. And as always, I'm going to share my experience. Oh God, it was a wild ride.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This was between 2020 and 2021. So let me just backtrack a bit. Being a born again for what? We're born again, yeah. I've been born again, yeah, Christian for a while. But for me, 2020 was when I really became born again, because that was when I was exposed to the person of the Holy Spirit. That was when I became aware. That was when I was introduced to the person of the Holy Spirit. I've experienced His power, His move, but I've always thought that Holy Spirit was one of the Godheads. I didn't really understand that it was a person with his own will. So that was when I really became aware of the Holy Spirit, and it was, for me, that was one of the that was my encounter. That was my encounter. That was when I believed that I became born again. Of course, my journey with the Holy Spirit started then in 2020, and God would have it. I remember even I think April, and I got introduced to a community, Kingdom community, an amazing community. Got amazing community by prophetic believers, like minds and amazing leaders and all that. So, and then in the process, I joined the worship team. I was really involved. I remember that we had these watches for like 3 months. It was, oh God, it was amazing. It was glorious. That really shaped my mind. It really shaped even my spiritual journey. It gave me some understanding. Like Casey introduced me to another dimension, another level of my work with God. I was really fully invested in spiritual things. You understand?
Ladies and gentlemen.
So I remember that, during the end of 2020, then Casey, the worship team, would always have this physical meeting whereby we'll meet and we'll worship. The meetings were powerful. There were prayers, there were deliverance, there were, prophecy and all that. And it was beautiful. It was pure, undiluted experience. I remember every time I attend the meetings, every time we were praying, I'm always falling. They always did deliverance for me. Like, they're always pulling something out or delivering me from something, and it became something constant that every time I attend, because we used to have that meeting, I think maybe like once a month or twice a month, I remember. But every time, they're always praying for me to deliver something, maybe something from the bloodline or something of the convent, something. They will deliver something for me. I remember one time it was so intense that while they were praying for me, I was on the floor. I was just, screaming. Then my leader, Piros, I know she held me. I was on the floor. She carried me. She held me, and then she was praying with me. People surrounded me, and they're like, "Oh, say Jesus, say yes to Jesus." And my tongues were twisted. I could not say Jesus. Hey God, I could not say Jesus. My tongues were twisted. I was like, say just like. Eventually, I screamed out and screamed, Jesus! You believe that day too, like God, the Lord really delivered me from, I don't know, whatever it was, whatever oppression, whatever it was, the Lord really delivered me from that day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So it kind of continued. So I remember in 2021, I mean, the day that I said, well, like, I beg, this thing has to stop. I can't, it's so embarrassing that I asked Sister Dolapo, you know, that of the Lord, and then you are still dealing with oppression. I beg. So I remember it was one of the watches in 2021 where it was a midnight watch. So one of the leaders was leading the watch, prayer watch, and I slept off. But I could hear his voice. I could hear what he was saying. So that happens. It's a spiritual thing, but so I could hear him, in my sleep, because my spirit was awake. I could hear him. As I was waking up, I saw that I was being pressed. I'd experienced being pressed prior to this day, but this one was the longest, and I'm like, God, what is this? I could not get up. I was being pressed. I don't know. I mean, pressing is something that is very common when people experience. I was being pressed, but in that process, I just saw myself saying, because I could not say anything, but my spirit, I was saying that, oh Lord, I surrender my life to you. I surrender my spirit to you. I just kept praying, like, Lord, I surrender everything to you, Holy Spirit. And then there was this experience. It was like my spirit passed through a passage. You understand? And when it passed through that passage, it was like it passed to the other side, kind of. And then I came out of that prison. By the time I woke up, I was angry. I'm like, what is this rubbish? How can I be in a prayer meeting like this? And then this nonsense, whatever evil, whatever it is, came into my room to come and oppress me, to press me. That day I just go back. I prayed, but for that I believe that my deliverance was that day. But since then I'm not really experiencing any evil. But yeah, it is possible. It's a journey. The more we submit our lives, submit everything to the Holy Spirit, then is able to, like I said, take hold of us and just be this edge around us that the devil, the evil ones, we don't have any access to us anymore. Yeah, so just I mean, it's not funny actually. So in case you're experiencing any demonic activity, of course you need to pray. If you have any leader that you can go up to that can agree with you in prayers, any authority that can agree with you in prayer, but the most important thing really, like I said, being born again is a journey. Just constantly submit everything to the Holy Spirit. Submit your spirit, submit your life, your soul, your body, everything. Like literally surrender. Like Jesus becomes the Lord and Master of your life. Let him guard you. Let him build this edge around you. Constantly submit yourself to the Holy Spirit, to the person of the Holy Spirit, and it would help you, as a transforming agent that it is, to help us transform us from inside out. So yeah, so I hope this has blessed somebody. Yeah, so it was a wild ride. Hi, it was wild.
Ladies and gentlemen.